have chatbot. We've implemented a chatbot in the pre-sales journey, which tells the customer, okay, let's say based on his previous purchases, okay, that there's a sale on Axis Bank card on Wednesday, so don't buy your ticket today, buy it on Wednesday, and you can save 3,500 rupees, whatever, right? So the bot is clever enough to find past history of the user, find what offers are available today, and then inform the user. Another place where we are implementing AI is in the entire post-sale processes, wherein a bot intelligently decides what the customer is here to do with his ticket, and then reduces that many number of calls at the call center. So it's hard to, and then it's really hard to not have things personalized these days, because that's the competitive edge that you would have.
Thanks, Satish. I think if I were to summarize this, and correct me if I'm wrong somewhere, your level of initiatives that you're going to drive will start from knowing the customer first, right? That's where you start. You're not bothered about integration now. You already have a platform.
Absolutely.
There is enough amount of offer and order management kind of capabilities which are there in the market. Now the game really begins when you start looking at, if you know the customer well, what can drive better convenience and can drive seamless experience across to them,
Absolutely.
right? Whether it be pre-sales, post-sales, or during the sales time, right? Whether it's recommendation engine, whether it's post-sales from a chatbot perspective, history, gathering and all that particular stuff.
Ancillary products, fintech products, whole bunch of products as well.
Perfect, perfect. I think that's exciting to know about that, right? Because that raises the level of competition from an airline perspective. If you're looking at from that side, it becomes extremely important for you to understand where the OTAs are really moving from a perspective of the growth, and what is the level of preparedness that you need to have to be able to drive that level of engagement. Manoj, over to you, sir.
See, I just said, customer perspective, customer is very, very demanding today, not in terms of fare. Most of people, they say, airline journey is not luxury journey today. It's a very, very painful when you travel, especially when you're reaching the airport and you find there are no boarding card. So who will help you? Only chatbot. You ask a chatbot, immediately they can give the boarding card. That's kind of customer experience we are trying to, introduce. In fact, chatbot is history now, because 2022 we already introduced chatbot. Today our chatbot is much, much mature. They understand who is the customer, and in our CRM basically they underline liking or disliking of the customer, who is Mr. X, when he's traveling, which flight is there. So based on that is only giving the flood of information in advance, so that customer feel happy. Now, if you, while traveling, you forget your boarding card, and chatbot giving the boarding card and handy in a mobile phone, and your QR code is already there. So you feel very, very delighted. And one thing, when you writing the customer with not dear so-and-so, you just name it, then customer also feel delight. Hey, this person also know me, my history, my last travel, how many travel we've taken. And liking, disliking in terms of, for example, somebody want to buy meal and they don't like non-veg in Monday, Tuesday, for example. That like chatbot, they know the psychology of the customer. So that level of integration definitely required. Of course, technology is AI is today we can say AI is a main tool where they can dig all those information and make the customer happy. Now moving ahead, we're talking about Gen AI. Gen AI little bit adding more emotional angle on the Gen AI. So now Gen AI is going to be understand a little bit more how information we provide in advance. I tell you example. Now, as a layman, if traveling from Delhi to Miami or XYZ destination, you don't know what is the transit visa required, not required. So when you're traveling those internet destination, type of visa required, that's also Gen AI give you in advance, hey, you make sure you should have this kind of visa in place, number one. Number two, after pandemic, most of airport, they have an old notification. You have to land at the particular airport, you should have vaccination, you have a doctor certificate. Those things is now country specific. Those information should be also provided by Gen AI to hand it to customers so that they know the advance, yes, I have to make sure all those documents should be ready with me. So that is the use of Gen AI. And moving ahead, there are a lot of information we can capture in Gen AI, creating an LLM and a different model, actually NLP or whatever you can say. But challenge here is how you store it and how you deliver it. It's not, we cannot believe on Google information. Visa is because visa required to the customer is a transit visa, business visa, what leisure visa. Those information should be correct. Information should be landed to the customer, because otherwise, information not very secure, not authenticate. That's going to be side effect of the customer.
Excellent, Manoj. So considering that coming into perspective, I also wanted to understand, considering that there are components like dynamic pricing and dynamic demand forecasting, which are basically redefining the industry to a large extent. And I think in the past, airlines and airports, I mean, airlines specifically have used it extensively from a dynamic pricing perspective. But now with Gen AI and, I wouldn't say Gen AI, but let's say traditional AI, or discriminative AI, as you call it. From that perspective, how are things really changing from maybe Dhananjay, if in case you want to answer this, and then probably I'll pass it on to others as well.
Okay. No, sorry for prompting the discriminative AI bit, but I think, just picking up on what Satish and Manoj said, I think it's very interesting that you actually brought up chatbot. So one of the things that we've tried to do, and we're working with the travel industry as well now, we do a lot of work with banks, right? So and now we're sort of doing a lot of work for travel. We've built a chatbot as an example, which works on 22 Indian languages. Right? So you can have 22 Indian languages, you can use generative AI to be able to converse in Marathi, in Kannada, in Telugu, in Hindi, in English, whatever, right? And that's really the power of generative AI. Let me take that one step further. Forget just personalized experiences, but you can now give experiences in both voice as well as text. So I can speak on WhatsApp with a chatbot, which now we've built, where you can say, "Mere ko ek ticket chahiye," and the chatbot will be able to do everything that you can do on an app on WhatsApp, right? So when you're thinking about enabling those experiences for tier 3, tier 4 city customers, that's really where the power of generative AI stands to come in. Let me actually go one step further to what Satish ji and Manoj ji said. Even recommendation engines. There's a lot of data under the Digital Privacy Data Protection Act, which is available with the government, which the government is willing to give to OTAs through startups like ours, where we act as a medium and a mechanism in an audited, secure manner to be able to personalize those experiences for you. Can I, for instance, say that, Anuj is booking a ticket through Make My Trip or Ease My Trip, and Anuj works at Kappa, which is a tier 1 organization which expects a certain level of service. Forget just saying Access Bank card discounts, but can you, for instance, go even 3 steps further? And that's, of course, where Make My Trip and Ease My Trip are trying to go, along with other OTAs, but that's really where Gen AI as well as discriminative AI can come in.
Good point that you raised, Dhananjay. Let me just take a step back and ask the audience, how many of us know about Rabbit R1 as a product? Raise of hands, please. Just one hand? Okay, so do we really understand, see, with ChatGPT coming in, this Rabbit R1 product came in maybe roughly around 3 to 4 months later, maybe 2 or 3 months later. What it did was extremely disruptive. What you could do is there's a Rabbit R1 phone that you that you carry, and it's all voice-enabled product. What it does is, the moment you say, "I want to plan a trip, please create an itinerary for me," what it does, it goes through multiple sites, including OTA sites and other direct sites as well, gives you a complete itinerary, and on a click of a button, you can start booking it. You don't even need to put your finger in it. You can just say, okay, book based on my categorization. And the bookings will be made, right? So now considering that there are products in the market which are coming on this scale, how are OTAs going to be addressing this kind of a need?
So there's a lot of content, there's a lot of data that OTAs have gathered over many years, right? So that definitely gives an edge in terms of creating products that are far more deep, if you will, from a customer experience perspective. And gathering content is not simple at all. It's a very difficult problem to solve, right? You know, while a meta kind of business is also there and a lot of people still use it, I still believe that, you know, there's still a large section of the population which really is concerned about the service aspect of things. So I think there's enough room for all players.
So the reason I'm asking this is because we were talking up till now competition between OTAs and airlines, right? From a perspective of direct distribution. Now there's a third player which is coming to the market, which is saying, okay, and this is disruptive because of the fact that it doesn't care about whether you're an airline or an airport or maybe an OTA. You will get the seamless transfer or seamless thing done within seconds as long as you are able to define the parameters right. The moment this happens, what happens is you lose control over your customer, right? Because at the end of it, it's a search query which is coming through, or maybe a voice-enabled interaction that you're having. And suddenly, OTAs, airlines are all out of control in terms of customer know-how. How do you handle that?
So, as far as I know, pretty much every OTA, I'm sure Manoj is as well, is already working on multiple voice-based features, if not already, if not already live in production. So, so many things to come, right? Matter of time. For example, everybody's been selling tickets so far, right? And we're all still around. And hence, I'm sure there'll be more and more features, especially natural language processing has improved quite a bit in the last 6 months. It's not that, you know, NLP was never there. Even your basic Android and iOS offer native NLP. But there are newer libraries from Google, etc., and Microsoft, which are like far ahead in the game, especially when it comes to Indic languages. So it's a matter of application, and pretty much all OTAs are applying it extensively as we speak.
Thanks, Satish. Manoj, over to you.
So basically, you know, not only for customers' perspective, voice enable, bot enable, those things definitely is the future, and that's going to be game changer. Now, practically, I will say technical standpoint, bot will take more time to click a button. In 3 buttons, you can book the ticket today. But voice bot, you know, sometimes because of local dialect, they don't understand, system don't understand, so take more time. But yes, because of technology, not only technology, I tell you, new thing, Government of India coming with a new regulation, disabled accessibility should be there. Even though 80% blind people, they can also book the ticket. So you make your mobile application, point of sale, web application, those things is also compliant with the disability. That's new rule is coming up. So irrespective of voice chat or voice bot or your website should be, you know, enable to bigger icon, bigger color combination, those things also coming with the new business rule. And I'm sure we called WCAG is the new rules coming up, and I'm sure most of OTA is going to be implemented.
Excellent. Okay, so I guess the times is up. We'll just wait for another 2 minutes if in case anyone from the audience would want to ask a question or anything of that sort. happy to answer them. Okay, so I think we're done. First of all, thank you so much for the participation. It's been really a great experience connecting and understanding your perspectives. I hope the competition is going to be going even further, but then we're going to go much farther than that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, big round of applause for our panelists. A great session. Distribution is clearly going to remain a very dynamic sector for some time to come. So we move on now to a related subject, which is that of ancillary revenue. Because something that we at Kappa India have long been highlighting is the fact that the proportion of revenue, the ancillary revenue as a proportion of total revenue at Indian Airlines is amongst the lowest in the world. It is significant below international benchmarks, which suggests that there's a lot of money being left on the table, which could have a significant and positive impact on profitability if there is an opportunity to leverage it. So in this next session, we're going to be talking about how digitalization could allow the airline industry to leverage those opportunities in ancillary revenue. So to take us through this discussion, the moderator for today's panel is Sam Sridharan. If I can just ask Sam to come up on stage. Sam is a long and good friend of Kappa India, and it's good to see him back after a few years of doing these events. Sam has very extensive experience in the aviation and travel industries. He's currently founding his own startup in the sort of gamification of consumer behavior. But prior to this, his two most recent roles were as president and COO of ClearTrip, one of the leading OTAs in India, and before that he was the chief commercial officer of SpiceJet. So welcome, Sam. Good to have you here. Joining him on the panel, we have two excellent speakers. Firstly, Shresh Srivastav. He's the chief strategy officer of IONOS. IONOS is a joint venture between Interglobe Enterprises and the Asago Group, and they're delivering AI solutions to the airline, travel, and hospitality sectors. Prior to this, he was the founder and CEO of BGig, an e-commerce marketplace designed to address emerging technology challenges for enterprises. And before that, he was with Tech Mahindra. And second on the panel is KD Chan. He is the Chief of Staff and Head of Business Development at AirAsia Move. Very pleased to say that he's come from KL to be with us today, so thank you, KD. Prior to being with AirAsia, the majority of his career with Bain & Company, a global management consulting firm that I'm sure we're mostly familiar with, where he worked across diverse industries. At AirAsia Move, KD spearheads the flights and ancillary business and shapes the future of travel in the digital age. So thank you, gentlemen. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Sam, over to you.
Yeah, let's dive right into it, and maybe KD and Shresh, you can maybe spend a minute talking about specifically the products that you guys have built and what you guys do, because the audience here would probably, I guess both of you are well-kept secrets, you not so much with AirAsia Move, but it'll be interesting to get your own perspective of your businesses.
You want to go first? Yeah. Thanks for having me on the panel. So my name is KD, head up the flight business for AirAsia Move. So I think many of you would have kind of heard of AirAsia, the airline. So AirAsia Move is actually the OTA arm of the wider Capital A Group, or formerly known as AirAsia Berhad. So yeah, my role there is to kind of manage the flight business, which includes the ancillary business as well. And as an OTA, we do not we sell AirAsia Airlines, but also 700 Airlines as well. And we do offer hotels, a ride business, a reward loyalty program as well. So yeah.
Okay, I'm Shresht. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer at IONOS. IONOS, you heard in the beginning, is a joint venture between the Interglobe Group and Asago Group. Basically, we're a digitally native artificial intelligence based tech company, which just happens to be in the travel space. Some of the things that we're solving for includes building AI-based products, again for the travel space, and one big one out of them is ancillary revenues and how do we help airlines address them, not just airlines but airports, basically anybody in the travel space address those.
Yeah, cool. Okay. So, Katie, you're probably in a place where most of us know are envious of, right? An OTA within an airline, and the relationship has never been, let's say, love, right? It's always been love-hate. Question to you: when AirAsia decided to go down that direction a few years back, the thought process was that it'll help drive ancillaries. So if you can help us understand how selling other airlines apart from AirAsia together with it, how has that helped, right? And how much of it do you attribute to just that in-depth understanding that the data has given you? Yeah, as an ancillary, how are you